How are we feeling tonight? Good. Awesome, awesome. I gotta say, growing up, I was very shy and reserved. I mean, I was so shy and reserved to the point that any form of public speaking I did in elementary school, I would start sobbing in the middle of my presentations. Don't worry, I promise you won't see any ugly crying tonight. I was also very introverted. By a show of hands, how many introverts do we have in the house? Okay, quite a good few. Whenever I was asked that question, I raised both hands, like I'm the definition. But you see, I viewed those qualities of my personality to be such weaknesses growing up, to be such huge limitations. I think part of the reason why is we look at such great, noble people. And even then, while I had my limitations, I still had an aspiration to do something significant like many of us do. Yet felt incapable of doing so because of the weaknesses and limitations. When looking to those notable people like Mother Teresa, Sheryl Sandberg, Nelson Mandela, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr., we hold them up to the image of their milestone as if they were born with all the experience. But one truth I realized that I believe we need to be reminded tonight is that those highlights have backstories where they all started. For example, Martin Luther King Jr., he was known for his I Have a Dream speech back in 1963. But do you realize it was back in 1955 where he was asked to lead the citywide boycott after Rosa Parks was arrested in a community he just moved into? That's 8 years of getting to know his community, giving speeches, building influence in unity before his great speech. Oh, in 1955, he was 26. Not much older than many of us here. Another example I want to give is a little closer to home. Back in high school, I was asked to lead a club called First Priority. Now, to give some context, First Priority is a faith-based organization that really sought to empower students to really occupy the school's campus and serve others. When I was asked to lead, I immediately thought to my weaknesses. I don't have any experience, and I'm not good at public speaking. I mean, have you seen me give some public speaking? But after taking steps, learning, collaborating, a great team was built, and we were able to accomplish some amazing things. This is a photo of some of the student leaders, and in the beginning of the year, we were lucky if we had 10 students attend. By the end of the year, we had an average of 100 students attending the club. And with the student leadership team, we were able to do amazing things as far as running drives to provide for those in the community. Students were getting involved outside the four walls of the school, and we created a space where students can actually feel like they belong. This is a photo of Juan Poulos. He came to speak in our club, and me cheesing and trying to play it cool. Now, why does all this matter? Well, you don't have to look far in the areas of our culture where there's division bringing down the house. Issues like racism, gender inequality, the political scope, and other areas. But I also believe that you don't have to look far to see that the solutions of unity actually begins with you. And so with the time remaining, I want to give you some tools that I've learned, and I truly believe that will help you in actually building unity in any area you occupy, whether in a grand scale or even in a smaller scale like your relationships. The first tool, set and clearly communicate your vision. This is going to be tied to your why. Now, for some of you, you may have the vision already, and for others, you may need to take time to build that vision, but that vision of what you want the world to be like, the mission you want to accomplish, the people you want to impact. I mean, can you see people actually putting the differences aside to care for others? Can you see people actually waking up to take care of the earth that we live on? Can you see people looking past the labels to actually break the glass ceiling for women and other groups? I gotta say, when I started in First Priority, I did not know anything. But I did have a vision. And that's for students to actually own their faith and intentionally and radically impact the world, inviting everyone to the process. Trying to be as inclusive as possible with this vision. And that vision was clearly communicated often. Students bought into it. And I thought, why in the world would these students, these team leaders, want to stand beside me? And I realized, Jonathan, the vision is not about you. It's bigger than you. See, those students they weren't there necessarily for me, but they believed in the vision as well. They believed in themselves in actually accomplishing the goal. And I'm telling you, when times get hard, that vision can be the very thing to help you move on. The second thing I want to help you provide is you want to fight the right fight. Now, I know whether you're in a group project or in a team, and I know any leader has dealt with this, you probably had that one person who was very opinionated. Like, if you were throwing a Christmas party, that person was saying, why are the ornaments green? Why can't they be red? Like, for real? But you're going to want to stay away from the petty things to distract you from your vision. You're going to want to make sure that everything you do is leading you closer and closer to the vision you want to accomplish. And how you fight is just as important as what you fight for. See, it's going to take humility. It's going to take being open-minded. And I like to let you know, you're going to be in it for the long haul. This isn't a one-and-done quick deal. Now, to give an example, how do you fight discouragement? You encourage. Instead of tearing down, you're building, listening, and adding value to people. The third tool I want to give you is own the opportunities to overcome your obstacles. Now, I'm sure none of us here are strangers to the obstacles life may throw at us. If you are, let me know, I'll give you some of mine. Some of the three obstacles we face are our own weaknesses, the obstacles related to our cause, and even the obstacles that aren't related to our cause. Can you imagine if the leaders mentioned previously, if they delayed and said, you know what, I'm going to wait till I have years under my belt of experience before I take action? Then I'm sure the world we live in today will look so different. I wish I could tell you the amount of times I said and messed up when it came to public speaking, and I had to really embrace my introverted tendencies. But when you take the risk, that's where the real growth happens. For some of us, when it comes to obstacles, yes, we fight the obstacles related to our cause, but even those that aren't related. For some of you, it might be closer to home. And that might be the very reason why it holds you back from taking action. Like for myself, growing up, already dealing with self-doubt and limiting my tendencies. My own father told me all that I would amount to was becoming the greatest gangster in Florida. I often look back and joke around and say, he probably saw how much of an OG I was going to be. At the same time, too, during my senior year, when all the great things were happening with First Priority, I so nearly lost my mother to autoimmune hepatitis, and it wrecked me. Now, fortunately, she's in good health, but during the time I was going through the motions, one thing I realized is people might be impressed by your knowledge, but they will follow your action. And with the team I had, they were still so committed. And not because I just put up this masculine ego of like, you know what, nothing's going to tear me down. But I was vulnerable. I had to let them know, hey, you all, I'm dealing with this, I'm struggling. But I'm still dedicated to this vision and mission. And fortunately, they were the ones to rally around with that unity, saying, hey, we got you, we're going to make this happen. Now, I don't know what the reason may be for the obstacles you faced, or the ones you faced beforehand, but I do know it has a purpose. And oftentimes that purpose is, those obstacles are the very things that shape you into the person you are today. Just as those experiences were for me. You never know what what it may lead to next. That experience in high school is the very thing that catalyzed where I am today, being able to serve and lead within FAU and in the community in a greater scale. And so, what does it all come down to? The best way to build unity is to take a risk and to start day in and day out. When today is today, take a risk and start. When tomorrow is tomorrow, take a risk and start. See, I'm a product of this. I'm a product of people who looked past the labels of my life, decided to include me, to build unity, and call me up into something greater. Tonight, you heard one story. Maybe you have the courage to create many more. Thank you.